And we are live. Thank you to, if you're here for About That Life podcast. If you're checking me out on the YouTube, if you're here for the first time, I appreciate you. Got a really good guest for you guys. As always, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, do the HBO special, help a brother out. Really appreciate it. We're going to have a really good episode talking more basketball, more AAU culture, hopefully teaching you parents, teaching you kids how to navigate this field and be great at this game that we all love and obsess about. Watch the intro and stay tuned.
From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rocklin, California, it's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C.Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to About That Life podcast. I'm your host, Coach C.Collins. Coach Mark is obviously not here as well. Again, he's always out there working. I will make sure to get him back at some point, or to get some of my future guest hosts like Marcus, Mr. Striver, but others. You can't guard me says all the time, or any of those guys. But until then, you're stuck with me, but hopefully that's okay. So before we get into it with my guests, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Dr. Dish, appreciate you. Please go check them out. They have the All-Star, the Rebel. I have the Facility brand. They have the home version. Tell them About That Life sent you. I'll include a link on the description on the audio side and my YouTube side. They'll hook you up with a discount, I believe, on most versions, except the home one, because I think the home one's their cheapest one. But again, I use the product. I have 3 of them in my facility. They work great. I suggest you use them. Also, shout out to Hardwood Palace, and another sponsor of mine. If you are looking for AAU tournaments, rec leagues, developmental programs, please go check them out. Hit up Steve or Grant at Hardwood Palace. That's located in Rocklin, California. They will make sure they take care of you. They got plenty of tournaments, plenty of basketball going on. They have access to 11 courts. Hit them up if you need anything. So with all that pushed to the side, I want to get to my guest. This brother has been in the training field for quite some time. He's known for, he's very much known for his passion of the game, and I would like to say more of a philosophical approach as well. And me and him relate because not only are we the same age, but we're very vocal about what we think. And I've seen this brother over the years, and I've reached out to him, and I'm really glad to have him on the show. Just like my last guest, Ryan, shout out to you, man. That people were still saying they really love that episode. So I'm hoping this is another episode that you guys can really learn the human side of these people and what they do in the business and in which we work in. But without further ado, let me introduce Benard Seals. How's it going, man?
It's good, but I can't complain.
Okay, so you have your company, Seals Drills,
Yep.
right? Just, you can give me a little bit of background for that before we get more into your basketball background. How long has it been going, and where do you mainly do your training out of? All that type of stuff. You go ahead, give us your origin story, bro.
Well, training, I mean, it's actually funny with training, bro. I mean, for years, guys were asking me to train, and I'm like, nah, I don't.
It's funny how
I
that
don't
works.
train. Like
that's how I got into coaching.
Man.
I was like, I don't want to coach, but here I am.
It's like, man, I don't have the time to train. Like, if you can't hoop, you just
Right.
can't hoop. You know what I mean? That's like, you're full. You gotta figure out a way to get better.
Right.
But it actually started, man. I ruptured my Achilles. I was trying to get back in shape.
That happened to me too, bro.
Oh, that's
It's a
what it
terrible
is.
injury.
Oh, bro. Ruptured the Achilles, and I just couldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And so just sitting in the house one day, and I'm like, man, let me go to the gym. I went to the gym. Some guys were in there. I'm just dribbling, and so I just started to give them advice. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the next day they came back. It was like, man, the advice you gave me, it really worked. It helped. And then a good friend of mine, Dennis Bruner, he's actually been training for a while. Yeah. He had his own facility and everything else. And so he's always asked me, man, come train. I'm telling you, you'll be good at it. You'll be able to. And so I finally went, you know, and it just started. It started there. I had a client named Caden Silva who trusted me. He came. Yeah. We started to work, and it grew from there. Like it just all grew from there. And I just used the experience I had from playing because in all reality, bro, we were trainers when we were playing. You grab your boy, you rebound for me. Right. 5 spots we shooting, or we breaking down whatever we trying to do and get better at. You training. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And without overthinking things, it just, I took the experience from playing and it just took off from there.
Nice. And I mean, no, you really like, I see it on your social media all the time. And you know, for those listening, obviously you guys know I'll link his social media stuff, so please go follow him. But you know, you got great catchphrases and slogans and all. You've marketed yourself well. You really marketed and branding yourself well. Has that been kind of just a natural evolution, piece by piece by piece, and you're just kind of picking up and learning along the way?
Just getting more comfortable. Okay. You know what I mean? Just being able to see other guys that are in the business and other guys on the internet itself, and they're able to be themselves. You know what I mean? You don't have to act like you're at work all the time. You know what I mean? You don't have to talk a certain way or carry yourself a certain way. You still have to be a professional, of course, but like allow your personality to show. You know what I mean? Be able to be yourself. And I'm a pretty witty guy, so
that's true.
So that's where a lot of that stuff come from. You know what I mean? I try not to take it too serious. And the kids actually, like the kids and the young men, the young women, they actually relate to that a lot more. You know what I mean? Showing that I'm being myself, showing the vulnerability, coming up with some catchy stuff that actually translates. They take it and they run with it. So.
No, that's what's up. Like, well, before we talk more on the business side, I always ask my guests, you know, tell us about your basketball resume and journey. You know, like I said, if you had an AAU program or, you know, a couple that you were affiliated with, you know, you can mention those, or talk about high school, college, whatever. But, you know, you feel free to give us your basketball story.
Man, basketball, started at an early age for me, 3rd grade. But unlike most other cats, man, I never played AAU. Okay. I had 1 year playing for a church league. Okay. And it was called the Beacons in South Sacramento. If you're from South Sacramento, you've been at the church, you've been a part of the Beacons. You know what I mean? It's sort of like it was a Salvation Army, but in the South area. You know,
we all have places restart like that. Mine was YMCA.
Okay. And yeah, man, the Beacons was the only place I've ever played as far as, you know, technically saying AAU, because we did play tournaments and things like that. Right. We traveled my 8th grade going into freshman year. We traveled across country in a van. Nice. Played at different churches. Okay. You know, went to New York and then came back. Oh, wow. But other than that, man, like, the politics was crazy, man. Like, you know, around the time I was playing, I'm not gonna get into teams and this, that, and the third. But man, it's like if you didn't have a certain name, or you couldn't necessarily afford it at that time, it was like there was no opportunity. Yeah. So for me coming up, man, a lot of those summers were just spent, you know, you play your high school summer league ball, but just in the lab. Okay. You know what I mean? Playing street ball, playing at the gym. Yeah. Watching. Back then we watched film you could record, catch the old games, record it on the VCR, go back, watch it, study the movements, and just be outside trying to do whatever move it is that I seen, and whatever movements Mike was making back then, Penny was making back then. Yep. Just live on the basketball court. You know what I mean? Right. Played middle school at Samuel Jackman. Played at Valley High School. Okay. Came up the ranks. I mean, a lot of these kids, like I stayed away when I finished college ball, bro. I kind of left the game alone. So this last 5 years has been the first 5 years back in basketball. So everything for me is like, I'm learning. Right. You know, I know what I know, but I'm still learning this new culture right now.
It is different.
It's definitely different. And so the whole, I didn't make varsity, and they're freshmen or they're sophomores. I'm like, Okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's not the end of the world, bro.
Did you make the team?
Right. Okay. You made JV as a freshman. Hey,
that's great.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have to play freshman as a freshman, bro, that's your age group.
Right. Yeah.
You made the team. It
Right.
is what it is. Just you have something to work towards. You have some skill set stuff that may needs to be improved. Maybe your size. You need to get taller. May need to get stronger. Like a lot of these kids think they fail because they don't play varsity, and it's like, that's not.
No.
If that was the case, there would be no freshman basketball. There would be no JV basketball. It would only be varsity basketball.
Right. That's
so that threw me for a loop when I first started to come back into the game. But yeah, played freshman basketball, Valley High School, man. JV basketball, 2 years varsity.
Okay.
So Optimist team around that time, all league. We went to the playoffs my junior year, hit Arco. You know, that's how old it is.
Back in
Arco.
I remember Arco days.
Arco days. Senior year, we made the playoffs. We kind of had some turmoil, some turmoil on the team. So we didn't do as we started off really good, ranked in the city and everything else. But as the year went on, things kind of happened. We lost in that second round to Jesuit.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Maurice Tyree. Guys back in the day, big guy back in the day. He was one of the guys back then. But after high school, I ended up going to Morgan State, back east, and I redshirted that year under Butch Beard, man, and that literally changed everything for me, bro. Like accountability, introduced to the weight room, playing back east, which was a different animal, like
because I played in Chicago, you know, and even though I grew up in Oakland or whatever, but still, it's like Midwest, East Coast ball is way different than out here. Way different.
Like, and you think we were soft out here compared to how they playing out there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
they're
always touching, grabbing, bumping, getting downhill.
For real.
But it was for me, like I said, it was a game changer because not only was I introduced to weights and getting into the weight room, but just that brand of basketball was like, oh, okay. This is how it should be played. Like, you know what I mean? And so when I came back, unfortunately, I got into some trouble out there. You know what I mean? Young man, not really making all the right decisions.
You're not the first, you're not the last. It happens.
And which is why with these kids, man, I'm able to tell them, you know, the good, bad, and the ugly, bro. Like, and I don't hide nothing from them, especially if they come and ask me about it. Keep it real, you know. But I ended up coming back, having to go the JUCO route.
Okay.
So I ended up going to CRC.
Okay.
Balling out there for 2.
Nice.
And then getting a scholarship to Seattle University. And that was 04, 05 when I first went out there. And man, I ended up being number 1 scorer, D2 era.
Very cool.
Was out there, scored 44 career high, several 30-point games. The game just kind of slowed down for me. And then I had a chip on my shoulder too, like, you know what I mean? Because, okay, I didn't get that D1 scholarship, and I've always felt like I could play at that level. Right. You know what I mean? And so I had a chip on my shoulder, like, bro, I'm here to prove who I am, and that I
sounds
can
like
play
you
this
did.
game. Oh no, yeah, 100%, and that's the mindset that I try to explain to these guys. Man, it's like, you got to believe in yourself, bro. You have to, one, put the work in. Like, nobody can force you to put the work in. You're not gonna get better if you're not working. If you're a hooper or a basketball player, I should be able to find you in everywhere that hoopers and basketball players are. Yep. The gym, the weight room, somewhere playing pickup ball. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's your culture. That's who you are. Right. A lot of these kids try to shortcut it and not put the work in and just practice. Like, that's gonna get them there.
There's an analogy I use all the time, and I took this from I think it was Simon Sinek or some I read books, right? So I'm big on that. Like, yeah. So, but like he said, and I think even Kobe said it. He said you're at the base of a mountain and you're looking at the top, but people forget there's a mountain. Right. Like, whether you're running up it, walking it, climbing it, you still have to go up the mountain. Right. You know what I mean? I think that's how kids look at sports or basketball for sure, right? They look at where they're at and they see Steph Curry, right? And they're like, well, I could be that. But they're forgetting, like, there was a lot that man had to climb to get to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of just, I think I think that's the culture we fight nowadays. You know what I mean? Like that instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Just building on what you're saying. Like that's just kind of what I see it as.
No, definitely. I call it the microwave culture. Yeah. You know what I mean? We kind of grew up and played in off the stove.
Yeah.
You had to cook it up. You had to take
street
your time
ball.
in the kitchen.
A lot of street ball, a lot of concrete. Yes.
Playing with older guys. You know what I mean? Going to the park, not necessarily getting picked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Having to wait 4 or 5 games to get picked up. Guys literally looking you off, not passing you the ball.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to deal with it and fight through it.
Man, what? And then go back to that same park and you know, prove yourself day after day.
Yeah.
You might have one good day, and then now that you had a good day, when you come back,
they're like, oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, come on, run with us. Yeah.
And then that's how you get your stripes, and then that's how you build on your confidence, and that's how your game grows.
100%.
Nowadays, it's like, I don't know, man. I see these like open runs and things like that, and everybody's just buddy
and being cool and all.
Right,
I'm not a fan of that either, bro.
Right, and they play their competition.
Right,
and it's like this is an opportunity for you to kind of establish yourself and let these dudes know that you can't mess with them.
Yes.
Why aren't you taking advantage of that? You know what I mean? I
agree.
Because when you do it there, when y'all have y'all jerseys on and it's time to tip the ball, like, they're going to remember that.
Right.
They're going to be timid. They're going to be scared. You already got the mental game won. You know what I mean? And they don't approach it that way.
Nah, they don't, man. Circling back with this was leading into the next question I was going to ask you. So with AAU, right, your perspective on it. And again, you're not like an AAU coach.
Right.
Just for those that don't know, of course, so you guys understand his coaching background and whatnot. He's a coach at Cosumnes River College. You know, it's a JUCO out here in Sacramento, right? Was this your first year doing it, or you been there?
No, I've been actually the same year I started training. Is the same year John reached out to
5 years.
me.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay,
5 years he reached out to me.
So you're seeing the and we'll get more into that too. But you're seeing the evolution of the transfer portal and the effects it's having, right. which is another reason I'm glad you're here, because you can talk about it from your perspective. But so I always ask this question pretty much to all my guests. It's like typically the first question. You know, in the AAU culture, the AAU basketball culture you currently see right now, just for you, I think you're primarily more of an observer because you're not coaching in it, right?
100%.
But, you know, what do you see as the pros and cons? You know, what is your overall take out of it?
I think I like the pros. If you're on a legit or in a legit program, playing on a legit team, like, you get access to certain coaches, play in front of certain coaches. You may get opportunities that may not be available with your high school team. That's the main thing that sticks out to me. You know, the network that seems to be out there in AAU.
Yeah.
If you know the right people, who can make certain phone calls and get you in front of certain people, that's a huge bonus.
Yes.
The cons, I think there's honestly, like, for me, there's more cons than pros.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, obviously. You know,
yeah, like I said,
opinion.
but it's your,
but like, there's no development because it's win-win-win. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll watch a kid who struggles in one area during the high school season, and I'm like, bro, you probably want to get in the lab and just really work on your game and improve your game. But they'll jump right into AAU, and it's right back to practicing games all weekend. Oh, I'm too tired to train. I'm too tired to go work. And it's not like, come train with me. That's not even what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Put in some work.
You still have to go put some work in the lab. You still, like, you have flaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not even addressing the flaws that you have now. You're expecting this AAU run is going to hide those flaws or make those flaws disappear, and it's just not
how that works. Not how that works.
And from what I'm able to see, and I'm not going to say every single program, but a lot of these programs don't have the staff to develop or the time to develop, because if they're running multiple teams and they have, you know what I mean, and they have multiple responsibilities, bro, they won't have the time to break everything down. And I don't think, and also to take it a step further, a lot of programs and I'm just the local area, a lot of the programs, I don't feel like they deal with the high school coaches.
That's true. I agree.
Because the high school coaches are going to be able to give them information on you know, what this player may need to improve. And then, you know, I'm hoping they would take that and try to implement it. And I think trainers the same way. The trainers don't tap in with the coaches, or the trainers take offense to high school coaches, giving them some advice, which is weird to me.
I think it's a weird divide, and I've talked about that on this show, and you can give me your 2 cents on that one too. But it does seem like there's a weird silent war between trainers, coaches, high school coaches, AAU coaches. It's a weird silent war, and I don't participate in it, honestly. Like, I have great relationships with a lot of high school coaches, but again, maybe it's just unique to me. I'm just the type, I don't mind reaching out. That's why you're here on the show. I reached out to you, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind trying to extend the olive branch to people. I don't have that type of ego, know? So, like, on my set, just for example, my 17U, like I said, played today. I got a kid from Casunas Oaks. We already talked about Kendall. Yeah. I got a kid named CJ. He goes to a private small school. Just happened to come my trial. Kid's great stud. I got kids from Grant. So me and Benard have always had a good relationship. I got a kid from Indercombe. Yep. Me and Mike Holloway have a great relationship. Yep. Clark from Ponderosa sent me kids. But again, I talk to these guys. We talk on a first name basis. I'll sit on the phone with them, talk basketball for hours, and just, I'm congratulating these guys when they're doing well in playoffs, and I genuinely consider them friends. You know what I'm saying? Right. But again, I know a lot of that sparked because I reached out to them, and it's because I just wanted them to know, like, look, tell me what you want me to work on your kids here. I'll tell you what I see. I'll tell you what we've been working on, and hopefully it comes back to you better, right? I don't know if a lot of AU programs do that, but again, I just know that's something I do. But it is some weird, war going on sometimes between the three chapters, if you want to call it.
I mean, it's, for me, I think it's like it's an ego thing, man, because I'm in a different type of space because I do personal training. Yeah. I coach at a JUCO level, which requires me to recruit on top of everything. Yes. And so, like, for instance, when I reach out to guys, it's funny because I'll reach out to local trainers who I'm like, oh, okay, this kid works out with such and such. Right. And so I'll reach out to the trainer, and like instantly it's like an ice wall. Like I'm trying to poach their client or something. And it's like, but as player development trainers, bro, you're supposed to be the point of contact where I can, reach out, hey, how's this kid? What does he struggle with? Or how do you feel? Has he talked to you about where he may want to play at? What are his ambitions? Like, those are questions you should be able to answer, and you should want to answer because you're a player development trainer. You're a player development coach. Like, and that's weird to me that guys take that stance. And then when I do talk to head coaches, like the head coaches for high schools, it is a better conversation than it is with trainers because they understand the whole recruiting aspect, and we talk real basketball. Right. We're able to go over certain situations.
And with you being a JUCO coach, I think that they understand that transition much easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and they actually like high school coaches refer guys to me just for the business side of things because we have that relationship, and I can put them in situations of their specific offense and where they were struggling and trying to help improve their shooting percentage in certain areas and things like that. Yeah. 2 to 3 dribbles maximum, not having them pound the ball a million times because it translates. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just think it's an ego thing. Like, everybody wants some sort of credit. Like, we're human. You know what I mean? Let's be realistic. You know what I mean? Right. But like a lot of these guys, I think a lot of these guys never were the man in any situation, and this for them right now is their road to glory, right? And it shouldn't be like that, man. It shouldn't.
When you, as a coach and a trainer, what would you say your style is? Like, I speak on myself. I'm a tough coach. I'm a tough coach. I'm a pusher. With my coaching, training, I want to say, I'm actually more cerebral. I'm more, I'm always, in my opinion, I'm always encouraging. Obviously, that's subjective, right? Some of my kids might be like, oh, hell no, Coach Chris crazy. But but even in training, I'm always like, come on, you got this. Keep going. Like, I know you're tired. Pick your head up. Keep going, right? So, what would you think, or what if you're on the outside looking in at yourself? What would you say your style is? What do you think you do out there?
I'm a motivator. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get you to maximize your potential. I'm gonna get you to believe in yourself.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you to run through that wall when
Good.
you don't feel like you can run through that wall. I rarely yell.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even coaching wise, training wise, I don't yell at all because
Okay.
for me in training, it's like, bro, I shouldn't have to yell at you. You let's pick it up.
Right.
Like, okay, no, we'll do this over and over. We'll stay right here at this drill for the entire hour,
Right,
until you're able to get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm gonna motivate you to get it done. I'm not gonna give up on you.
right,
But coaching wise, I'm an assistant coach. So
right.
So again, I'm not gonna be doing all the screaming, all the yelling. I'm gonna make sure I
When you're the assistant coach, you get to be the good guy.
right. And but I don't even because I'm going into my 5th year and I'm starting to get the itch to be a head coach.
Nice.
I'm starting to kind of figure and develop my style. I wouldn't yell.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just personally, because I'm the type of person that you kind of yell at me. You know, I'm gonna be receptive, but like it's like, hold up, bro. Like,
right.
Who are you
You
talking
walking
to?
a fine
bro?
line.
Like,
Yeah, I get it, I
like
get it.
chill, bro. Like, you know
I
what I mean?
get it.
Like, because you can talk to me a certain way, and I'll pick the message up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'll get what needs to be done. And I think a lot of these kids respond to that a lot more. At least through my experience, I'm able to get more out of them. You know what I mean? A little more understanding. And now if it's something I'm repeating 4 or 5 times, all right, bet, get on the line.
Right.
I don't,
Right, yeah.
I don't even
No,
got to
you're right.
yell to
Yeah,
say
you're
that.
right. Like,
Bet,
yeah,
let's
like,
hit that line.
exactly.
Let's get these 17s out there.
No, that's good, and that's good because that's a unique nuance that I watched Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown. He made a segment a while back, kind of talking about that because it was this one, might be 2 or 3 years ago. It was a March Madness. Coach Izzo, Michigan State, and everyone knows Tom Izzo is
right.
He's the same cut of that Bobby Knight without the extra.
The extra.
Yeah,
Right.
But like he was getting on a player and like super getting on him, like they look like he ready to run up on him type stuff. And Nick's take was like, I don't think that's necessarily the best approach. And then even NBA players are chiming in because you had guys like Steven Jackson who were like, no, that's real coaching. And but then you had other guys that were like, nah, that's too far. That's you know what I mean? So you saying that with, like you said, you're going to be more of a calm,
Right. I'm gonna break you down before I tear you down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a good nuance. You know what I mean? Because I would say for me, yeah, I'm more of I'm a Tom Izzo-ish type. I don't think I go that far, but I'm the type of guy, I'm trying to light a fire under you, right? So, and each coaching style I think is needed and is valid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my thing is you can be tough. Like that first year at Morgan State, I played for Butch Beard.
Yeah.
Like, and bruh was a monster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he literally, like, the way that I got put in the weight room, bro, he called me out in front of everybody. Man, take your skinny ass and go get in that weight room. You know what I mean? But it's like, nah, coach, I got it. Like, if you don't take your skinny ass in that weight room right now, but
like you said, change your life.
But changed it. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that approach is wrong. It's not. It wouldn't be my approach, but like, as long as you're building the guys back up and not just breaking them down completely, because some I've seen guys just get broken down, bro. Confidence gone, spirit gone,
right,
and just gone. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think we should never do that, like tearing them down, because you can't put that back together. If you break it down,
you're right.
You can always build that back up. You know what I mean?
No, I know 100% what you mean. So then, we can go. That's one was segue into. So with the college portal, and I did a video on this that went, I guess in my opinion, semi-viral. But I know I'm not the only one saying it. There's a lot of people being more vocal. Holding their phones and just saying stuff. And then. Right. And I like it. I like this age in which we live in where people could give their opinions. Now, do I agree with every opinion? Hell no. But I don't mind people having one, right?
Right.
But I overall said, the new D1 is going to be like, D2 and JUCO basically because it's for high school kids, and this namely for high school kids, right? It's so hard as a high school kid to really get to that D1 level right off the bat, because it's like you said, we're in a microwave culture where things got to happen now. Right. They got to happen now. We can't wait. Right. We can't wait 2, 3, 4 years and hope. Right. Hey, you work out, and it's not that anymore.
Those coaches get fired.
Yeah. Right.
They have families that
it's just
rely on that paycheck.
Shout out to Coach Hendricks, Damani Hendricks at San Jose. Like we were on my Instagram Live talking about it. He was like, I'm looking at a portal kid first. I have to. I just did to keep my job. Like, for us to have a job. And so I'm just saying, for you at the JC level, are you seeing like, because I want to say, because of like when you played at Kasunas, I was here at that time, so I know I had to have seen you play at that time. But at that time, there was some really good JUCO teams. You had Bouillon and
AR.
AR and who was I forgetting at Sac City at that same time?
Victor Nance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got some really, really talented guys.
Right.
And it was really competitive. Even before Bouillon, it was Palmer. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like JUCO's going back to that to a degree. You know what I mean? Is it kind of looking like that on your end, or what's your take with the transfer portal and all that stuff?
So the transfer portal, for me, in my opinion, has brought some sense of reality back to some of these parents and some of these players. Okay. Because 3-4 years ago, well, even when I started 5 years ago, I would recruit certain kids, and they're like, "No, I'm going D1," and it's like, you don't. I believe that you can work your way up. Right. You can put in the work and definitely play at that level, but you're not ready for D1 right now, bro. You don't even put in enough work to
I don't think the kids realize the difference in the bodies. You know what I mean? I always challenge a kid, go to these levels you think you can play at. Right. Like, we have a D1 not too far from here. It's called Sac State. Right. Go to a game, right? We have a D2 now down the street with William Jessup. Right. Like, go to a JUCO game, go to a D1 game, go to a D3 game, like, and you really honestly tell me if you think your body is up to par like that.
Be better students. That's part of it. They weren't even being realistic students of the game. You know what I mean? I remember watching varsity being like, damn, can I play varsity? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have to get a lot better. And again, the transfer portal to me just brought a reality like, you're not ready for that, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, now it may be because of how recruiting is going to go, but realistically, now those coaches are they don't have to take a chance on you.
No, they don't.
They don't, you know what I mean? The potential of you panning out to be something, like I said, it could definitely be, but it ain't going to be there.
Yeah. They don't have to waste the time.
They don't have to. And I think it just benefits every level below that as well. D2's gotten better. D3's gotten better. NAI's gotten better. Now, they've always been tough anyhow. Right. But they're just that much more tougher. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And JUCO's always, it's a dogfight. Yeah. This could be your last 2 years of playing basketball. You know what I mean? And if you're one of the guys or girls who really want to get that 4-year scholarship and continue to play, you know that JUCO's a grind. You know that, like, ain't nothing sweet about this. No. And it's actually probably a little more tougher because you don't have all the amenities that most college basketball players have. Yeah. You know what I mean? And depending on where you go, you may be sharing a facility with
You're right.
7 other sports playing on the most dustiest broken court. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and of course, like Last Chance U really highlighted, kind of, I guess you could say, the more grittier grind of it. Because I was talking to James, my buddy, he's the head coach at Treasure Valley JUCO. Yeah. And, they have, like, dorms, and they got nice situations, beautiful campus, things like that. So, true, every JC isn't that grind and struggle, but I would say for sure, because in California – and I could be wrong, but I think there's like 90 JUCOs out here or something like that.
It's like 100.
Yeah.
I want to say 130.
Shit, well, I was off. That's what I'm saying.
I want to say about 130.
And don't most, if not all of them, have basketball teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them have. And so that's why I'm like, and I try to, and I don't think people realize outside of California how big California is. No, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to tell the kids, realistically, most you guys, especially if you're a California kid, most of the time you're going to play college out here anyway, right?
Right.
So, understand, like, you need to go to these games. You need to see it. Go to in our area, we're lucky enough to have 6 JUCOs in the vicinity.
Right.
And I think that's a very unique thing to where we live, right? Because even in the Bay, you really get like 2, right? Merritt and Alameda, right? So, but out here, you got 6. And a lot of the kids sometimes, I think, like you said, years ago, would dismiss it.
Oh, what? Come on now. Like, what was funny to me, and it's like, again, being a trainer, coach, and still a hooper, even at this age, that never leaves. You know what I mean? Especially if you can still do it to some level.
Old man hoop.
Right. Come on now. The ball gets out there, we finna play. Right. At least one game. You know what I mean? But like, even if I put my I would have to. I looked at kids from the hooper mindset, and like, I didn't tell them this, but I would think, and I'm just like, bro, you're not that good.
Right.
Like, you would have problems with me right now. So what do you think you're going to run into, when you run into this other 18, 19, 20-year-old or 26-year-old at the JUCO level, right? And who's hungry and who wants it, who athletically can still compete at that level. Like, bro, this ain't no game. Like, you know what I mean? This ain't finna just happen like that. Like, and they thought it would. Like, it was so funny how they would frown at it, and then as years go on and kind of seeing some of the guys and they're like, man.
Like you said, that humble themselves.
Yeah, like, man, Seals, you kept it real. And like, that's what I pride myself on, bro, is like keeping it real, because I've been a hooper that's been kind of told something that didn't come to fruition. You know what I mean? And so, like, when I'm recruiting or if I'm training, like, bro, I'm being 100% honest. And even when I'm saying I believe you can do this, I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say something that I don't believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you're a D1 player. I'm not telling you that if
if you don't really
if I don't see that. And then like having the luxury of being able to talk to some Division I coaches and be friends with some Division I coaches, they've helped me really understand, oh, this is what we're looking for in a Division I guy. So even though you think like, okay, this guy's killing and he's this and that, he's still not a Division I guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's another reality that, like, kids need to understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different brand of basketball being played at that level, man.
When you talk to, like I said, because of course you're gonna have relationships with those coaches, when you're talking to those D1 coaches, D2, the things like that, what would you say are like the top 2 or 3 things they're always looking for? I guess outside of grades. I know grades is always one that's big up, but outside of grades.
Grades and being a good person.
Okay.
Right? Being a good person, but their motor, their basketball IQ.
Okay.
And then just their ability to produce.
Okay.
With and without the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? With and without the ball, because you may be trying to get to that level and the ball's not going to always be in your hands.
You're right.
You know what I mean? You may be coming off the bench. You may only be playing 13 minutes a game, 14 minutes a game. How are you going to produce in that 13 to 14 minutes?
I tell my kids that. When I coach, I talk efficiency. I'm always talking efficiency. I'm like, you play for me, you're going to play. I tell the kids, I don't have decorations on my bench. Like, you're going to play.
Right.
But whether you play, if it's 40 minutes in a game, like whether you play, 31 minutes or you play 17 minutes or you play 6 minutes, like, gauge your efficiency in that time. Right. Don't just fixate on the amount of time, because you never know when it's going to be your day to run 30 minutes. You never know when it's going to be your day to run 10 minutes and your day to run 6 minutes. It's always a fluid thing that's shifting.
Right.
But again, I'm lucky enough I get the kids young and early. I get the parents and I can have these conversations. Unfortunately, like we said, there's only so many kids I'm going to be able to reach. Right. So, and some don't agree with me, right? They go, oh, you just a hater, and then they leave, bounce to these other programs, whatever the case may be. It's just part of the package. With in the training side, do you think at times, because again I train as well, right? This is my approach when I do my training. I try to split it, by like 15, 20-minute segments and what I mean like that. And then so we always start out with our ball handling warm-ups, work up a sweat, get them dribbling the ball, right? And then from there, we do what I call my burst drills, where we do a lot of dribbling, attacking the basket, dribbling, get shots up. Where they're doing a couple series of moves, but they're choosing the shot. They're getting fluid with it. From there, I would say the next 10 to 15 minutes are typically game scenario drills, where I'm having them do V-cuts and then attack the basket, or a V-cut, catch and shoot, or a pick and roll, pass it, cut somewhere, relocate, catch the ball, those type of things. Then 10, 15 minutes, like I'll take them to the plyo room, or we're working ladder drills, speed, agility, maybe some type of defensive work. Then from there, like finishing, things like that. And then typically some live stuff, whether it be 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, whatever. Someone talked about this. I can't remember what Instagram reel, it just popped up, but I found it as an interesting question. I was curious your take. They were saying, in a lot of training nowadays, the kids just have the ball for the entire hour. They're just doing too much like in my bag work. Right. Do you kind of see that as a trend, or do you see it's more balanced? I'm just curious your perspective on it.
No, yeah, I definitely see that. A lot of the stuff that they're teaching is isolation. You know what I mean? Breakdown, which I think you have to teach that as well. But like for me, like I always say, real basketball. Yeah. Real basketball is back in style. Like I'm starting to notice a lot of people teaching the other things, coming off of screens, moving without the ball, setting screens, you know what I mean? Coming off a pin down, going off the V cuts. Yeah. And so I incorporate that. Now, like we'll definitely get in our bag at times. Right. But even when we're getting in our bag, there's no wasted dribbles. Yeah. We're not taking 7 dribbles in one spot to set up a move because that's not realistic. Right. You know what I mean? You'll mess around and get parked doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll be sitting down and you're like, wait, no, this is what I work on, and coach is like, nah, the ball's stuck in your hands. Like we ain't even getting no movement, and you're in the same spot. Like, you got to sit down, bro. You're not creating for me. You're not doing anything. And the main thing for me is just real basketball stuff that's going to translate. Attacking downhill, attacking spaces, getting to areas, you know what I mean? Where, like, let's just say, for instance, we'll warm up. We'll do our initial warm up. Then we'll do some ball handling stuff. And the ball handling stuff in the warm up that I'll incorporate is going to be what we're going to go into during the training. So, right. So it's like building on itself. It's building on it, right. Yeah. And those, whatever we're building on will be in different areas of the court. Okay. Right. And out of that move, or one move, 2 move, we'll get a counter. We'll get another counter. You know what I mean? And we'll figure out how to get into it in transition. So that way, what I hope and what I expect is when you get put in these situations during the game, the body just goes to autopilot. Okay. You know what I mean? Because it's reactionary. Right. Like, yeah, I'm going to say a tween at this cone behind the back here. But in the game, it's going to be reaction. You may go tween and you don't need to go behind the back. Right. We got a layup. Right. Or we go tween and we get to that spot. We got to our area of operation. We pull that jump shot. You know what I mean? And I just hope that the more consistency you have, the more you get put in those scenarios, it just turns into autopilot. No. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. It's like I try to always break things down numerically, right? I'm an analytics guy. So I tell the kids, I say, listen, the biggest, and this is college basketball, because it's on Synergy, right? I was talking to Ted about this and all, and Brandon, but I got Coach Barnes at Bakersfield, but we were talking about this stuff. Just saying that, the highest percentage scoring, and this was in the NBA. We were looking up just the NBA stuff because obviously the kids want to mirror the NBA so much. The biggest percentage for all NBA teams to score was catch and shoot. That was the big, but like from the weakest team to the best team, that's the percentage. So I tell the kids, if you really at least want to get at least the cornerstone of like what could a college potentially need me to do to score, I say be great at catch and shooting. Right. Like,
and that starts with and like just to kind of go piggyback off of that, like that goes with working on moving into certain windows. Yeah. Being ready to shoot the ball as that ball's being passed to you, being able to find laces without looking at it, finding the rim, all fluid motion up to a jump shot, which in my training we definitely incorporate. Good. You know what I mean? Because it's certain skill sets that will make you more valuable. You know what I mean? There's certain roles that'll make you more valuable. And like the group training is one thing, right? But when we get to our individual training, that's where a lot of that stuff gets incorporated, because I'll know your offense. It's on you. Like, I require you, like, bro, what offense do you run?
Right.
Okay, what areas do you frequent? You know what I mean?
That's good. A lot of trainers
give me
don't
some
ask that.
film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's my job to help you get better at that. Like, I'm not going to just put you in random situations that you're not even going to do right now during your high school season. Spring and summer, we'll add to our bag for sure. We'll go in different scenarios and situations, but during the season, you're coming to me for individuals during the season. It's to get you better for that season, for your team right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I tell these dudes all the time, like, okay, you come to me once, twice, you should be doing this on your own. You can call your boy, you know what I mean, your teammate, like, this stuff that we're doing right now, you should be doing this on your own as well and adding to it.
Yeah.
But that's where they lack as students, you know, and that's where I think improving their mentality as becoming better students, it has helped, like, at least the guys that have come consistently to me, guys and girls that have come consistently to me, it's allowed them to make all league and improve their scoring average and their shooting percentages, because I challenge you to be better, bro. Like, nah, don't just watch highlights. Yeah, post your highlights for sure.
Right.
Live it up. You know what I mean? I'm not against. I'm not against.
Enjoy
none
the
of that.
moment,
Yeah.
of course.
I'm not against none of that. Find the hardest track you feel. Put the music on there, bro. Have at it. But that's not it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just understand that there's a lot more to it. And I challenge them in that way. Like, okay, well, how'd you do last game? And I already know how they did last game, because I look at the stuff before they come.
Right.
How'd you do last game? I did all right. Well, what'd you shoot? How you don't know?
Right.
So you're not paying that much attention to everything, you know what I mean? And when you start to challenge them that way, and some of them get it, some of them take a little longer to get it, but it helps them, man. Like, I think that's ultimately should be our goal, is to help them become better students. And I think our age group, we were forced to be students of the game. You know what I mean?
I still have an old VHS Pistol Pete tape.
Come on, bro.
I still have those type of things, man. That's at my mom's house. I still have those type of things.
Bro, come on. And you go outside and you would do it. Like, you literally do it. You know what I mean? And, like, I tell them all the time, like, they don't play enough.
Yeah.
Like, training's one thing. Like, training's cool.
Right.
Training's definitely going to help. And in y'all generation right now, you have access to a lot of guys who've done it. So that's a bonus. But that still doesn't take away from going to play.
And just playing the game and learning and getting a feel for it.
Come on, man. I would go work on something for a few hours, and I don't care who's at the gym. It could be the bums, you know, the weak. All right, I'm finna get this off on them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Working on something out here.
I'm working on something. So then when I play against guys who may have the same talent level or may have a higher skill set, I'm able to get my stuff off. Mm-hmm. I know my body. I know what I'm able to do. I know what I'm not able to do. A lot of them don't even know what they can and can't do.
And like you said, well, it's, you know, that's the argument that's going on right now. You know, that I shared that NBA video with the commissioners talking about the NBA is more focused on the youth side now. I think you've seen it too.
Right.
And that is kind of become the thing, like, because again, at this point, 30% of the league is import players, you know, and you kind of seeing this trend of import players. I mean, who knows, 20, 30 years from now, they might be half of the league, right?
Come on now.
And we're the origin of basketball.
Right.
But the difference is in those other countries, they are more about practicing and doing the fundamental. They'll practice 5-6 days a week,
right,
and only play 2 games, 1 game.
That's what the fundamentals lack.
Yeah,
like and again, we came up in the N1 mixtape era, so we was getting in our bag and everything else too, but like we knew the fundamentals,
and the skill set is so much better. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. you call me an old head. I still don't care. He's better than LeBron. But like, no, I can look though at the body of work and acknowledge that these kids get their skill sets and their abilities so much quicker, so much better, so much faster.
Right.
But like you said, what I think is a lack of fundamentals and understanding of the game.
Right.
And I think it could be it's a combination of multiple things. I think it's AAU programs that aren't doing it right. I think it's parents that are looking for that instant gratification. They're just looking, they're trophy chasing, right? And I think, yeah, and the social media aspect, and that's a whole nother animal. But yeah, you're
even
right.
trainers though. Even I mean, certain. I'm not gonna say every trainer,
right? Of course,
you know what I mean? But even trainers, like, you have to do the boring stuff.
Yes,
you have to do the boring stuff, bro. And if you've done it, how do you not incorporate the boring stuff? And the only way I say you don't incorporate it is when you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
When you're in it for the money, or you're in it for the fame. It's like you're gonna go with what's hot. You're gonna continue to go with what's hot and get away with it for as long as you can. But like when you really care about these kids getting better, you care about the game of basketball, you can't skip the fundamentals, bro.
And it's the boring, and it's funny because we all preach this. You can go to, No Chill Guild to any, Matt Barnes, Steve J. You go to any of these podcasts, any of these NBA players, KG and Paul Pierce, any of them, Haslam, JJ Redick, and we all saying the same thing.
Right.
Like, fellas, kids, we didn't get here by doing the flashy stuff you guys see. We had to go through the boring steps.
Right.
Boring
drills pay the bills.
Yeah, man. And it's so crazy to me because it's like, in my training sessions, especially my kids that can't shoot very well, we're going to take 5 to 10 minutes form shooting right in front of the rim. Right. Yeah, it's old school boring shit.
Right.
But guess what? You're going to be a better shooter doing this.
Yeah, you'll learn how to shoot better. And it's reps on reps. I'll have, like, there'll be certain just an hour of shooting to where they're like, they'll hit me the next day, Coach, my arms hurt.
Right.
Yeah, you were shooting. You're building muscle memory. Like, that's what it takes. You think that dude Steph can shoot how he shoots?
They think he just woke up like that.
Oh my God, bro, it's so tough doing what he does. Like, bro, he doesn't even get enough credit right now for what he does, in my opinion.
And what's crazy is what's inevitably going to happen, and you can kind of see the trend, is I would say 20 years from now, 30 years from now, there's going to be like 20 kids who could do what Steph did.
100%.
Because the next generation
100%.
emulates the previous, right? And it's like we will have remembered the origin of that.
Right.
But for them, they'll look at Steph and be like, yeah, he was good, but he couldn't do it like this. And it's like, you don't understand. He was the first to do this. He changed the game. Like,
that's how it always goes.
Right?
So that's how it always goes.
That's just always I laugh about that. Like 20, 30 years from now, what basketball will evolve into, what the next generation of kids are going to say. I feel like I'll be coaching and training forever. Like, how will I evolve as a coach and a trainer, right? It's always these funny questions I'm always thinking about. What do you think of, and this before we move on to the other stuff, but what are your thoughts on the basketball culture of Sacramento? Because and again, I know you have your input. That's part of this show. That's why we say About That Life. Right. I want your honest opinion, good and bad. You ain't got to throw nobody under the bus, but again, I think there's a lot of good, but there is a lot of bad. I agree with you. It's just kind of a mixed bag.
It's a lot of bad in the sense of like the politics. Like, it's unnecessary politics at times, in my opinion. And again, I'm not in the AAU world, so I can understand how certain programs you have to, if it's a business, right? You have to,
like that's right, what
it's
I
a
have
business.
To do here.
You have to market your business. You have to produce a certain amount of success for people to want to come to your business. But I think like the politics of like holding kids back from opportunity is crazy. Like, bro, if you offered a Big Mac at McDonald's and bro wants to go try the Big Carl at Carl's Jr.
Right.
Like, let bro go, Charles. Let him try that. You know what I mean? Like, let him try that. It's an opportunity for him. Like, and especially if like, I just feel like people have to be realistic. It'll all come back to you. Yeah. It'll all come back to you, especially when you move in genuine, bro.
Yes.
Like, that's what I've experienced. Like, in word of mouth alone, like when you invest in these kids and you really help these kids, parents are gonna tell other parents, and hoopers are gonna tell other hoopers. You know what I mean? And you'll continue to flourish. You know what I mean? Especially if you're genuine and you doing real basketball stuff. Now, if you're out here in a microwave culture and you being janky and that's gonna catch up to you.
Yeah, you're right. 100%,
that's gonna catch up to you. 100%. You know what I mean? Your program's gonna have a bad name.
Yeah.
And I think it's bad in the Sacramento area with just chasing names, want to be attached to a name, rather than really building it, helping build a kid who may not have that name, but the potential is there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll toss that kid to the side for a name and fly a name in, but it's like, no, this kid's here working, wanting to get better, but we overlook it. Mm-hmm. You know, we close the door on them. No, you can't play here.
Yep.
And it's like, why? I thought we're supposed to bring these kids in and build these kids up. Now, everybody ain't for everybody.
No, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody ain't for everybody. I'm realistic enough for that, but like the politics is crazy in Sacramento, and it's been like that. I remember the politics being like that again, like I said, when I was younger.
Right.
And you didn't have a certain name at that time. Who? What?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they weren't giving you a shot.
You don't even get the opportunity. At least give a kid an opportunity, you know what I mean, before you close the door on them.
I guess to play devil's advocate on the other side is like, because I can only use my life as an example and things like that. It's like, you know, there's kids I've coached since they were like 4th grade, 5th grade, right? You know, I can say one in particular, and this ain't throwing him under the bus. It's just a good case in point example. There's Eli Willis. He goes to Whitney High School, and there's Mark, who's at Rocklin High.
Okay.
I had coached Eli from, I want to say 5th grade until freshman year. Yeah. Right. So 5th, 6th grade, until freshman year. So about at least 3-4 years invested working with this child. You know, was, I guess you could say, his first quote unquote elite coach, and introduced him to the higher level basketball. Worked his way up. Now, you know, he's arguably Whitney's best player. You know, 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", super athletic kid, you know, really, really strong athletic wing. Still has some of his flaws or whatnot, but it's clear he's going to play college somewhere, in my opinion.
Right.
What's tough is, after freshman year, come back sophomore year, you know, he just basically goes, right? Have a conversation with his mom after the fact, after he kind of ghosted me, and didn't necessarily like the way he left, right? And, you know, I'm fine. It's not like I hold any ill will towards him or whatever, but, you know, it does kind of suck sometimes to see, like, and the thing was, it wasn't like he left and he went to like the Nike YBLs or the, you know, because I'm on the Adidas circuit. It wasn't like he went to the Yellow Jackets, basically. It's, you know, which feels like an adjacent it's like you just went across the street, basically. Right. And on our side of it, on the side where it's like, man, you poured into this kid and stuff like that, it does suck. No, it does suck to 100%. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But Mark, on the other hand, he kind of told me ahead of time, had conversations with me prior to, said he was interested in playing for Jalen Green Elite, which is on the 3SB. They're obviously sponsored by an NBA player. So, and that's ultimately where he ended up. And I think this year now he's going to play for the Oakland Soldiers, the YBL team. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not at that stage. Like you just said, I'm not at this stage. But at least he gave me the courtesy to have conversations with me, to kind of talk to me, to tell me. He even texted me recently. He said, Coach, you know, when I'm not playing with the Soldiers or them, I still would like to play for you in certain, you know, games and stuff. And I said, yeah, but you still got to come to practice, right? You know, there's things like that. I just use those two to illustrate, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way, obviously. But, you know, I still wish them both the best, and I hope everything great happens for them. And me and Eli are cool. There's no issue there or whatever. But did I, at the time, did it come across to me the right way? Of course not. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I say it's tough on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
And see, I mean, I can see, you know, I understand exactly what you're saying or how you would feel that type of way. But I think a lot of that, I can't remember which kid, but the kid that just ghosted you. And I'm not saying that this program did that or anything like that, but a lot of that be the politics where they're selling dreams.
Right.
I got this, I got that.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to do this. You got to, because I've asked people, hey, can you help a certain kid? And they've told me flat out their mouth, they got to do everything I say.
Oh, see,
and it's like
that's a little too much. Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's like, come on, bro.
Now
but,
that no.
but there are people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't fault teenagers.
No,
we've been there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like I don't think they purposely try to burn bridges. They don't even understand how networks work and trying to keep bridges. You know what I mean.
Right.
So you don't burn them. And I don't blame some of these parents either, because the parents be naive and they get sold dreams as well. Mm-hmm. And then the thing is like. Yeah, y'all in a tough world.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. We are. We just are.
It's tough because it's like you can invest all these years in a kid, and I think just having the courtesy of saying, "Hey, coach, I'm finna go try this out." Boom, boom, boom.
That's all I ask.
Boom. That to me is 100, because any good coach or anybody who's for you is not gonna stop any opportunity. Right. Now, when you just bounce and I see you somewhere else, then it's like we're human. We'll feel some type of way.
Yeah,
like course. You know what I mean? Like, what's up, bro? Like.
Yeah.
How that doesn't, I can get that part of it, but I think a lot of that, when that happens, in just my opinion, I think they get sold dreams, man. You know what I mean? And I think that, and I'm not saying that this was your case, but they may be down talking you and pointing out all your flaws. You know what I mean?
I am very transparent on the show, and I will say it. I know there's a lot of programs out there that down talk YBA. They down talk me personally. They say, Marcus jokes with me all the time. He's like, you want $2,500, $2,500. He jokes, but I'm like, y'all do the numbers. I'm the cheap end of high school YBA, or not YBA, AAU. I'm the cheap end, because take into account the pandemic, inflation, shit costs more. It just does. Officials want to be paid more. The people working the door want to be paid more. The scorekeepers want to be paid more. Where do y'all think that money comes from? Right. The revenue that's pulled in from you parents paying for your kid to play, right? And I budget it to where I'm on the lower end, right? Because I understand that I'm dealing with working class families, and I want to give them a service that could potentially help their kid pay for higher education, right? And just and let them enjoy their dream, because me and you both know basketball relates to life. Right? It just 100%. Does. It helps us. It's helped us be the man and shape the men we are today. And so, it is a tough world. It's like it's a balancing act, and you try to do your best, but
it's messy, man. Yeah. And guys that I never really, because when like I said, this whole 5 years I've been away from the game until 2019, where I started to get into it and invest in kids and coach and learn about certain stuff, and I've witnessed it all, you know what I mean, and I'm just like, you're not a real one. It's you can't, basketball is basketball, but weirdos are gonna be weirdos. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of weirdos that are involved in the game, which sucks, because it's like, man, you're not even playing by the rules.
Well, and what's crazy is if you tell the truth, this is the thing. Because there's been times people have mentioned programs that they want to go to and things like that, and because I'm so close with the families or something, I say, look, I'm just telling you my opinion. I don't think that's a good idea. Right. Then it's like you're flipped as like you're hating. Yeah, you're hating. And I'm like, I'm just telling you this because I love you. I watch you grow up. I just don't think this is a good idea. Right. But if you want to try it, I hope it works out for you. Yeah. But other programs will flip that oh, he just hating on you. He just want to hold you back. He just want to. And I really make it a must to not badmouth programs. I don't badmouth programs. I say, listen, I don't know what they do. I tell them I can only go off what I see on social media or something. Right. Looks like Rose City's on the Puma circuit. Looks like Clutch Elite's on the Puma circuit. Control Chaos is on the Gold circuit. And that's all I know. That's really all I, to a degree, know. I say, but, I know looking at their schedule, hey, they're doing a lot of flying to the Midwest. Right. So you better be ready to get some plane tickets. You know what I mean? That's all I can tell you. Just the truth. So I tell them, people ask me, oh, well, why'd you go with Adidas? All the tournaments in California. Right. That's it. That's really was the biggest pull for me is all the tournaments in California, with the exception of Rock Hill in July, South Carolina. So, and in my opinion, most California kids are going to go to college in California, especially JUCO.
Right.
So, to me, it was just a no-brainer to say, okay, why don't I have them at the events where they're most likely going to go to school? And, yeah, you know, you get the gear and all that good stuff the kids love, the shoes, the Hardens, all that, cool. But it's like I don't speak on other programs. You know what I mean? It's just not my place. You know what I mean? And I know, well, like I said, for you being in the training world, I know.
I learned about that early. Yeah. Like, I learned about that early. Like it's one thing to be an active hooper and compete. That's different.
Yeah.
So you ask me about a player, he's weak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's basketball.
Right, that's basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never understood tearing down another trainer to a kid.
Yeah.
Now, there's some bums training. Like, you know what I mean? There's some bums training and they're teaching nonsense, but I'll never say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll never hate on them.
It's professional etiquette.
Right, because they're teaching what they feel, and if you feel that works for you, okay, cool. Like, my thing is, like, I always tell people this. I don't care who you go to, right? Just one, don't build bad habits, and understand what's real basketball. And that still challenges you to be a better student. Right. You know what I mean? To be like, nah, bro, I'm not doing this. Like, you know what I mean? This ain't going to get me nowhere. This ain't helping me do nothing.
Right.
And so then, boom, you may need to go somewhere else. Because I'm realistic, especially with me. Like, a lot of the kids that come with me, like, if you look, I don't have a million clients because I'm not a full-time trainer.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I coach. So when we're in season, we got practice. I got my own guys I got to do player development for. So we may just go on Sundays. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, you may need to go get some work with somebody else, but make sure you understand what real basketball is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And parents ask me all the time, like, what do you think about such and such? Who? Yeah, even if I know them, I act like I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Because I've been in a situation where I've said something and it wasn't even what I meant, or how it, and it just was like, oh my goodness, just like, whoa,
just stay out of it, like
whoa,
like Ted says, he said, be Switzerland, just sit in your corner and just be cool with everybody.
Bro, I think after my second year of training, maybe my third year of training, like because parents are the problem too. Parents may not like what they got over there and come and try to talk about that trainer. And it's like, hey, bro, I don't gossip.
Right.
I don't really, to keep it a buck with you, I don't even really care.
Right.
You know, and sometimes they're like, dang, you're an asshole.
It's like, no, I'm just here to do my job.
Like, nah, bro, I don't want no parts in none of that, bro.
Right.
Like, I don't care who he used to be with. Oh, he's coming to you now. He used to be with and all right, bet, cool. I'm finna go back to training. You know what I mean? Like, I'm finna go back to training. If we rocking, we locked in. I'm invested. Hopefully y'all invested.
That's it.
I could care less about who or where he was at.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or why you left and why. That's not my place or my business, because again, some of these guys end up being weirdos and it goes somewhere it doesn't even need to go.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Doesn't even need to go there, bro.
Never does.
Just pipe down and do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do, and let's just, you know
what
I mean.
No,
help this basketball
get it,
community.
I get it, man. Because we're all coworkers to a degree. We're gonna run into each other. It's like,
we're in the same field.
Yeah,
that's just like when recruiting. Like, I'll never down talk another program.
Yeah,
for what?
All you are more likely, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I would say your approach is probably the same as mine. I'm just gonna explain what we offer and how we can benefit you. And how, yes, you can benefit us. Right. But that's it.
Right. There is no point in me bringing up somebody else and tearing them down. Yeah. That's just like, again, like I just operate in reality. It's like, when I was single and everything else, and, you know, you meet a woman, I'm not finna talk about bruh. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly what it is. I'm not gonna talk about bruh to make me.
Like, I'm not gonna tear him down just to get you. Like, you know what I mean? But weirdos will do that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you gotta understand.
Right.
And once I got that in this basketball world, things have been a lot better for me. And I just stay in my lane.
Right.
Stay in my lane.
Well, switching gears, I want to talk NBA with you.
Yep.
Right? Do you have currently an NBA team that's your favorite and an NBA player that's your favorite?
Lakers for sure.
Okay, you're a Lakers
for
guy.
life.
Well,
You know what I mean?
see, we got some Lakers
I'm
stuff
a
here.
Laker for life. You know what I mean?
So is LeBron your favorite right now?
Yeah.
Or
So
I say it like that.
so look. LeBron is a hooper. Like,
no
cannot
doubt.
you
No
can't
doubt.
take that away from
No
him.
doubt.
But like I'm a Kobe guy to the core, and just like so when LeBron's not on your team, you can say all the stuff that's like, bruh, like you know that's true. But when he's on your team, like he makes me mad at times, bro. I just you know what I mean. He makes me mad at times, but he does play basketball the right way.
He does.
He
absolutely does.
He's you can't deny his talent. Whether you got him number 1, number 2, number 3,
he's on the Mount Rushmore. There's no, there's no doubt.
He's a boy. He's a boy for sure. But it's just certain qualities that me as a fan, me as a hooper, that I kind of relate or want more out of my number 1 guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's nothing. It's no knock on LeBron, but yeah. You know, he stresses me out. He for sure stresses me out.
On the funny side of it, talking NBA, have you seen the guy? I feel like this dude is going super viral. The we done with the 90s.
Yeah,
we done with the 80s.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What do you think of that overall, man? That dude's
it's
hilarious.
It's super funny. Like it's super funny. You can't. I mean, my bad.
No,
it's super funny, but like, hey, man, like,
even look at bro the Jordan tapes he finds.
Right.
He's like, you ain't got no left, Jordan. No left.
Right.
And bro, Jordan be looking like trash.
Like he be having Jordan looking like trash, but that's the thing is like everybody there's low lights.
Yes.
Come on,
there's
man.
low lights for everybody.
Everybody ain't just always on point like that, bro.
I saw some of them videos, man. This one guy came on the Bulls. He said, who is that? Who is that? Look, it's like these dudes look like they 40 and they 25. I was like, bro, that's hilarious. Nah, they're so funny because it is this whole, you know, the young guys and us, the old heads, you know, talking. It's hilarious watching this little culture war right now, and it's like
cats gonna always think their era was better. I mean, you can cats from 1940 probably feel like they got the best era, and you'll look at something from 1940 and be
like, what is that?
What
exactly? And I was watching this one YouTuber. I like he does basketball analytics. He's a real good analytics guy, but you could tell he's really does these well thought out videos. So he made a video responding kind of all this stuff. It was so good. It's called JX High Roller is his name. I suggest you all look that guy up. But yeah, he did a great breakdown of like he even illustrated like so what he showed to kind of illustrate it. He said greats from different eras did play in different eras and still had success, which could logically conclude that they could, like for instance, Washington Wizards Michael Jordan. Yeah. Like was he obviously he wasn't, you know, 90s Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan, but he still was effective. He still was successful. Then you go then they use Kobe Bryant as an example. You know, number 8 Froby, right into the new Kobe for the early 2000s, things like that. So they're like, we have seen players transition into new eras and still find success, right? And obviously LeBron being the hugest case in point, right? So that's I just found that point interesting. I think what I will say, JJ Redick had said on his podcast what I would like to see as far as rule changes in the NBA, and maybe you could tell me what you would think too, is I want them to take away the defense of 3 seconds. I think, you know, back in the day when you had the Shaquille O'Neals that could just plant in there, the big 7-foot guys that were there just to hack you if you made it to the basket, yeah, they had to make that to kind of get the lanes attacking. But because the game is so skilled and pretty much, I mean, everyone has to have the capability of shooting the 3, you know, and you have to be so spaced out. I think what'll help, because this is the biggest complaint, you know, looking from the media side, critically thinking, is everyone's like, you know, you can't play defense anymore. You can't hand check. You can't touch them. It's so offensive centric. you know, you look at the All-Star game, 200 something point. You know, it's like, no, you can't. You're not even in games. You're not even really allowed to play defense anymore till really, let's say, the playoffs where they let it get a little more physical. So JJ said, why don't we take back the 3 seconds in the key? Right? What do you think that would be a good idea or a bad idea?
I mean, I think it would help. Like, I think it would help challenge the offensive players
just to give
more.
defense, you know, a chance again.
Give
you know
them
what
an opportunity. I would like to see. I mean, the defense at 3 seconds is something that, I mean, if you wanted to keep it, I would want to see the hand check again.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it offensively, you still would have the ability to get your stuff off. You just got to be a little more physical.
Yeah.
I mean, I love everything you're doing for our team and everything else, but like, it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Because guys they really don't even, like D-Lo, for instance.
Yeah.
His game changes when he's on the floor with LeBron. Like, his mindset changes. You know what I mean? It's like his superstardom is just it's time to, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
You've done enough, brother.
Yeah, he's clearly done enough.
Yeah.
And shout out to, I got to do this quick, shout out to Derrick Rose. He's announcing retirement, 15-year career, and obviously dealt with his fair share of injuries, man. So, you know, huge fan, man. Just you've gone through a lot, man, and he's
persevered.
gone through it. Yeah, he's persevered and found success, man. So enjoy your retirement, dude. You know, kick back, relax. I'm sure you'll find something, you know, to venture into, things like that. But, you know, big shout out to you, man, and your career and everything you've done. So I want to go into respectfully disrespectful.
Okay.
And this is the part of the show where we talk a little bit of the controversial hot topics and things going on right now. Like I said, the biggest thing that I'm noticing, well, let's start off with officials. Right, they're not perfect. I've literally had officials on the show. A lot of officials. I try to get their side of it.
I saw that.
But yeah, it's been some tough weeks, and especially like again the big controversial one with the high school team. I wish I could remember the name right now, but they got the shot off for that game winner. Yeah. And the ref came over and waved it off. I think the other 2 refs said it was good, but he waved it off, and he was the lead official. And, yeah, people were very upset about that. I'm just, you know, what's your take with some of the officiating going on, man?
Man, you know, I understand we're humans. Everyone's a human, so nobody's perfect at all. But some of this stuff be like, nah.
Even in the NBA, man.
No, even in the league, it's like, nah. Like, the good thing about the league is, like, they have replay. They have that last 2-minute report where, you know, you get your flaws and stuff pointed out.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they have some type of reprimand or something like that. But, like, man, I think, especially since the pandemic, like, bro, it's been on a decline.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go watch high school games and I'll see stuff and be like, there's no words. Like, whoa. Like,
well, they're so short on officials because that, like, if you go to a lot of varsity games, you know, there's only two-person crews. You know, usually every varsity game had 3, but they're running short on officials. You know what I mean? And I know it's a tough gig. I know it's a tough job.
I'm not taking away from
I
that.
encourage a lot of these younger, like, you know, people will always ask me, and I'm sure maybe you get this question too, especially the younger guys that want to get into training or coaching or whatever, you know, like, how do I make money, you know, coach, or, you know, how do I get a facility, or how do I get clients? I say, if you really want to make money in basketball, become an official.
Yeah.
Because you will always have work.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I said, you can train on the side, you can coach on the side, but they will always need officials. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's some guys that are out there that's like, bro, you can't even make it down the court.
Yeah. Yeah.
This might be that time. Like, you know what I mean? But he's still working.
Right.
Like, he's still, officiating's tough. Like, you know, I get it, but some stuff just is like
what were you looking at?
Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not even a disrespectful guy, but some stuff makes you want to just say some disrespectful stuff, like, because you're disrespecting us.
Right. You like
what?
No, I know exactly what you mean, man.
Bro. And then sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Like, as an assistant, I don't get into all that. Yeah, that's on our head and all that.
Right.
But man, bro, I'm kind of demonstrative on the bench. Like, it's my emotions, or I'll be like, or stomping my feet and stuff. And there have been times I've been like, oh, come on, man.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's gonna be. We'll see.
I mean, it can only get better, right? I mean, you can hope that it only gets better. I don't think every single official is bad.
No.
But man,
it's tough.
It for sure is tough, bro.
So, and then on the flip side of it, some of the kids and the disrespect, like. I'll tell you something that's kind of annoying me now. Is these troll teams? I don't know if you know that concept with the AAU stuff.
Yeah, it makes it for me, like a person who's kind of like sees more cons than pros in the AAU. It's like, for me, if I wanted to like be that guy, I can be like, that right there.
That's
like,
a con.
It's a complete joke.
Right.
AAU's a complete joke. I mean, I don't never want to knock anybody. If you getting money off, however, whatever. Course. I never want to knock someone's hustle, but it's like.
But if the other team's not in on the joke, you know what I mean? Like you're going. Parents are spending their money. Coaches are hoping to have a legit, good formidable teams. Like, you want to do strategy, you want to work on things, win or lose. Like I know I want to. It's about development, right? And then I see a bunch of, like, there's a team this weekend that played Jay's team, my 16 Rise team. They called themselves Bout Elite. Yeah. Right. Off of the kid I coached, Derek, who's a rapper, DB Bout Right. And he had no knowledge of this thing even existing.
Right.
And they had T-shirts, they're talking mess, they have their cameras, trying to make fun for YouTube content, all this stuff. They ended up losing. But it was just such a, like.
It makes it a joke. Bro.
Yeah, man.
Like, for real basketball enthusiasts and people that love the game and people that take it serious, like, you know what I mean? It makes it a mockery.
Yeah,
bro. It's ammunition for people to kind of, justify calling it a joke or calling it a waste of time. Yep. And it hurts. It may hurt real programs that are really out here trying to do real things. And why'd you sign us up for this tournament and da-da-da? But it's like, I had no idea about this.
No, they don't. Like, do you think it's a cultural thing, man? Because, like, I don't think you'll see this in baseball. I don't think you'll see this in volleyball. Do you think it's just kind of, I don't want to say a black cultural thing, because I don't think it's a racial thing, but I think basketball culture. I just think sometimes our where it intersects is the entertainment aspect,
right,
and the basketball aspect. Yeah, you know
it's
what
a basketball thing. I think it's a basketball thing. I definitely, you can't you do that in football, you might lose your life.
Yeah,
because of the violence of the game, or how violent the game is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just because I don't know why it's like that with basketball. Because even you have, people that are popular on Instagram teaching bad habits or saying just crazy things. It's like, you have to be trolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just goes back to the students understanding what's real basketball, what isn't. And
I equate it to how boxers feel about, like, the influencer boxing industry, like the Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson deal, or the influencers like Jake Paul fighting these retired MMA fighters. Like, boxers don't like that. They're like, you're making a mockery of what I do. You know what I mean? You'll never see Tyson Fury take that serious, or Anthony Joshua or any of those guys, right? Because they're like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, you're making fun of what we do. Like, this is our livelihoods, and that's what I equate it to sometimes when you see these troll teams and stuff.
I can see that.
And I don't mind the fun of it, because I think both sides should be in on the joke. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Let us know. Let us know.
Like, and then
you never want to hate on. I don't want to come off like I'm hating on whoever.
No,
but it's like, come on, man.
No, and there's some kids I love that like, I just saw, I did my live with Deshaun, and Drifty J has made a great success doing this. Marcellus Perry, all these Sacramento kids who out here being successful, getting their bag and just doing great things for the culture. But I've told Jay, I said, man, you gotta find a balance between that, man. Don't do it too much. You know what I mean? Do it a little bit every now and then. That's good, but don't don't get too heavy into that, because there are some people that really take this seriously, man. And I don't want you to piss them off, right? So, and he's a good kid. He hears it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know who he is.
Yeah.
He's solid, man.
But like,
Solid dude.
and then a couple more things I was thinking about. The taunting, the crazy taunts, and that these kids are doing nowadays. The kind of outlandish stuff. You always talk mess to a degree, but I feel like it's really getting on that, like.
Right. Like, my thing about that is, I kind of, you gonna pop it a little bit. Everybody's gonna pop it, but like, they take it to a different level. Yeah. And the thing is, you gotta know where you popping it at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, during the game where there's refs and everything else, we know it too much is not gonna happen. Right. But I'm seeing them at local gyms, and it's like, hey, like, you gotta be careful with all that, man. Because you talking to some grown men, you saying the kind of wrong stuff and the wrong words, all in their face with your fist balled up, like. You gotta kind of relax, bro.
Right. I done seen a few dudes get knocked out doing that the wrong way.
And it's like, bro, like, you did it. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you did all that for whatever reason you felt, and like, I feel like the league, again, because that's where a lot of people watch and where they get it from. It's like the league has to do better, in my opinion, with that too, because like, you hear them, like, you'll listen to certain podcasts, and I can't remember who said it, but ain't nobody gonna fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so they'll get in each other's face and go head to head.
Right,
and
but there's no one's taking it.
And nobody's doing that. Yeah. But these kids are doing that in the local gyms and stuff.
And they're not realizing the dude they talking to really is about that life.
Right. Like, and it's like, and nobody's finna break it up.
No,
like, you know what I mean?
Like you wanted this.
Right. And then you're looking like, I've seen it. And it's like, and they look like it, like shocked, like, oh my gosh, he punched me. It's like, bro, you got in that man's face and pushed him.
Yeah, started like, doing all that extra shit.
Yeah,
like, what do you think was going to happen? I don't know. And yeah, it's, like you said, it's perpetuated a lot by social media and all that stuff. I think, I don't know, sometimes, what did Mike Tyson say? He said the internet allowed, like, people to speak without getting punched in the face. Like, shit, sometimes, I'm sorry, a punch in the face might wake somebody up. You know what I mean? But yeah, my message to you kids, be careful who you talking to.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And especially using certain words. Like, certain words you don't call grown men.
Yes. And I don't think sometimes they remember that.
Right.
Like, like I said, young, we're old young. Keep that in mind. Like, we grown-ass men out here.
It's certain stuff that's like, it's instantly like, oh. You asked for that one.
Exactly, 100%. And then, in the games, like, I was for sure say with the recent, fights, well, I shouldn't say fights, shoves, altercations, I guess it's the best word, the altercations, like the last one with LSU and why am I not thinking of the team? The big
South Carolina?
Yes, there you go. And the dude that jumped on the court and all that stuff. I'm like, whoa.
I think his emotions got the best of him, and he was tweaking for real. But I mean, the whole interchange with the players, and that's part of that's I mean, we've been there. Right. You know what I mean? Like, the emotions running high and that stuff happens. You know what I mean? It's like, it shouldn't happen too often. Right. Hopefully it doesn't happen more often than it has, but like, hey man, like I've been involved in shoving matches
of course,
and pushing and things like that.
Yeah, that's the competitor, and that's
shoves and some people, it happens. That's part of the game, bro. Right. But the whole jumping over the scores table,
that's what really caught me. It's like there's enough people there.
Yeah, you gotta control your emotions,
like,
bro.
You gotta chill out with that. I think he got arrested too. And I'm like, hey,
which I don't think he should have. Make sure he doesn't come to any more. You can't come to any more NC2A tournament games and all that. Yeah. But they said he pushed. I'm like, I watched the video a few times. I didn't see that either. I didn't see that either. For sure, seen him hop over.
And then he looked at old girl and was like, oh.
Yeah, he probably came to a sense like,
it's like, oh, she like 6'8". Like, this is, I don't know if I want this. Like, that's about it.
My thing is, what were you going to do? Like,
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, it's cool, man. Just chill out.
But emotions run high. Probably little sister. You know what I mean? But it's like, nah, bro. You was kind of you was tweaking.
Like so, and more speaking in the Sacramento AAU culture, because I'm curious your take on this and just basketball culture in general. Like, I'm really an advocate of trying to get something established out here, and in terms of like a truly sponsored shooter like JBS, right? That's what I talked about with Sean when Sean was on the show. I don't know if it's gonna happen again. I know PHPS had that years and years ago, but I don't know if we'll ever get to that point. Marcus says it all the time, Kirkland. He's like, man, he said, if Sacramento put their resources together and everyone just put their ego aside, we can get a team of like 10 strong guys and go out there and do it. Do you ever think something like that would happen? I'm pessimistic. I don't know if something like that will ever happen. But
I think it can. You just have to build it with the right people.
Yeah.
You have to build it with the right people. You can't build it with everyone. Like even using JBS as an example, he only let certain people in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure whatever he has to earn his trust and for him to believe in you, he's putting them through whatever. But I'm pretty sure everything started with him though, and his ideal of what he wanted and his grind and building that foundation and it grew from there. I think it can happen. Like, for instance, if it's something that you want to do, you're going to have to do all the legwork.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll have to, whatever connections need to be built and networks, this, that, you'll have to do that. And then you'll have to build it with people that see the same thing that you see and that don't have an issue with playing a role. I think a lot of people, like, have to be the guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
what they all want.
Have to be the guy or bring this much to the table, but want this.
Yeah,
it's like nah, like there's like even
they take the term role player with a negative connotation.
Like I'm an assistant coach. I'm a player development coach. Like at the end of the day, John's word is what we go to. I'm a professional suggestion giver. Mm-hmm. I might think something will work, and he'll be like, nah, I'm going with this. But
you're gonna support him because.
Right, I'm not going to go behind his back, like, see if you would have,
of course,
talk to the players.
Nah,
like, and that's what's going to help us be successful. And a lot of people they don't have the ability to do that, bro.
You're right,
and I think it'll start with if you can just provide a space of trust and have the people around you that you trust and go get those players. You'll have to recruit them. You know what I mean? And the players will have to believe it and buy in it too. But if you're able to get them in front of these people and you build the connections to get those sponsorships, then I think it can happen.
Yeah, and that's just the biggest hurdle for me is, you got to be able to finance all this, right? You got to be able to pay for the kids' flights, pay for the hotels and all that, and super talented kids' parents don't want to pay. They don't, and that's the tough part, right? That's the challenge I have to figure out one day is could I get to a position where I have some fundraisers in place, some donors in place, some sponsorship in place to where I can say, okay, I have 30 spots that are completely free, right? For, 15U, 16U, 17U. I need 10 kids per spot. It's all free. Give me the best kids in our area. We don't even have to go all the way to the Bay or Fairfield or anything. Just Sacramento, Elk Grove, all the way here to Rocklin.
Right.
Give me the best 10 guys, and let's go out there and kill it on the Adidas circuit and kill it so much that they have to go, you know what? This guy's doing something. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't. That's my master plan one day, but I don't know if we'll ever get there. That's why I was just curious your thoughts because you're someone that's tapped into the.
It could happen. It could happen. It's just you'll definitely have to find the right people. Like I don't understand why it hasn't already happened. Like when I sit back again, I'm not involved in it, but I'm like, I do question like, okay, why isn't there just like one or two? There's just a lot of talent out here. Yeah. So why isn't there just like I'll say like a Compton Magic or why is that? But it's like there's so many politics and so many different gatekeepers.
And everybody wants to be attached to it. Everybody wants to have their name on it. Like I pride myself on being able to work with programs. So last year I worked with Ryan with touch shooting. This year I'm working with Timo in the lab. But again, I have relationships with those guys, right? Me and Timo play college ball together, right? So that's how we were able, I know him. So it's like, it's hard for me to be able to go to, let's say, because I'm looked at, I guess, as a bigger program, for me to go to a smaller program and say, hey, I'd like to work with you and stuff, because then they just look, their defenses are up. They're just like, oh, you're just trying to take my kids. You're just trying to, and it's like.
Well, I experienced, like, when you're a threat, bro, you have, like you can be good enough to, so good or and honest and genuine that you're a threat.
Right.
So insecure people are going to always be insecure. I had to learn that too, like with training, because when I first started training, like, I swear I wanted to collab, let's work, and like I started off in a like a group, like with a group of trainers, and like one trainer, like, it's just certain clients will start to reach out to me, and it's like, I'm not trying to. No, they just see it, and what's starting to happen, and then so there's a competition that gets created, and it's like, I had to realize, like, and you're a threat. Like, when you're good at something and you're passionate about it and you're genuine and people start to come and get drawn to that, bro, you become a threat to certain people. Right. Because they can't, you're better. Right. You know what I mean? And those are the people that, okay, well, you can't work with. Yeah. But I do think there are smaller programs you will be able to get them to see the benefit of what you're trying to do, and they'll be able to play their role and grow with you. You know what I mean? So. You just got to find the right one.
You're right. That's what I'm trying to do, bro.
You just got to find the right ones, man.
So this might be a controversial question. It'll be my last question before we get out of here or whatever. But if you have any thoughts on it, what do you think about, like, this reclassing pandemic?
I think it's weak.
Yeah.
I think I'm just being honest, and I'm not like, if I know you and you've reclassified or something like that.
And no knock on it, because I've said this on this show numerous times. I don't have a problem with reclassing as a whole. I think it's a case by case basis. Right. And sometimes it's needed, but I do have a problem when you're using it as a genetic advantage against younger guys. Because, like, in high school, it's varsity. I mean, if you're a 15-year-old on varsity, 16-year-old on varsity, 17, 18-year-old on varsity, that's it. But to sit here and to sit here and be very disingenuous, and this is what pisses me off with certain AAU coaches, and so this is the disingenuous side. They'll be like, "There's no difference between a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old." Like, come on, man. The genetic bodies are so different. You can give me the most advanced 11-year-old. Right. I can find an average 13 or 14-year-old that can match that pretty easily. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I get pissed off.
That's where I say it's weak. Like, I mean, if your circumstance is like, okay, your birthday's later, and you're still in that age group, I get it. You know what I mean? 100%. But, like, when you're 16 playing 14 and you know what I mean,
there's 16-year-olds can now be in the 8th grade.
Yeah, that's weak. Like, I don't, there's no, like, that's weak to me. Like, because you're, as a hooper, like, you should want to compete with your age group or higher. Right. Like, that's that's competition. That's to compete. But to say me at 16 and I'm okay, like, first of all, bro, you're 16. What do you want to be at a middle school campus? Right. Like, what do
Don't you feel some sort of embarrassment?
Right. Like basketball, like, and there comes a point where you're not going to have that advantage because you're going to have to play at your age. So to me, it's weak. Like, I don't give, if you're 2 years more and you're playing lower, bro, you're not that good to me. Right. Like, I had to learn that, like, again, because I've only last 5 years been back in this realm. So I'd see a kid and be like, oh, he cold. And then somebody be like, yeah, he such and such age, and it's 14s, and then, and like, instantly my mind just be like, oh, well, he's not that good. You're right. And like, he's not that good.
Because if you're 14 years old in the 6th grade, and you're
You should
dominating.
be. You
it's like
should be.
they're 12. You
Yeah.
should be dominating.
Should
them.
be.
I'm like, that's not an accomplishment.
Right. Not at all. And like for the people that support that like that's just weak. That to me, there's no way around it. It's weak. Now, if that's the case, if they're not ready, play your age and then take that prep year, take that redshirt year.
Right.
There's ways to
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Like and that are a lot more respectable, but to man, to be 16 playing with 13.
I mean, I've heard
weak.
stories of I've heard stories. I've seen it with my own eyes of forged birth certificates, forged report cards.
That's weak.
You know, and it's this again. It's this win at all costs, and I think a lot of organizations, there's a mixed bag of it. If you're on the top end, where let's say you are Compton Magic, you are an Oakland Soldiers, you are Team Lillard, you are a Team Why Not, whatever. Like you do have a burden of performance because in order to keep that contract, you have to win, right? That's just part of that.
But there's and I could be wrong, but there's no way whoever's providing that contract is signing off on.
Yeah.
They're signing off on 16s playing with.
Oh
13s
no, not that. No, but I'm just
okay.
saying in terms of they have to win at all costs. So in terms of like
keeping the sponsorship
keeping the sponsorship, right? That's on that top end. Okay, so then you have the youth side because this is what I try to tell parents, especially on the show. 8th grade and below is a different ball game than 9th grade and up.
Right.
Like high school AAU and youth AAU are not the same.
Right.
They play the same sport, but they're not the same game. That's what just like I say, the NBA and college, they're not the same sport, but they play the same game. Right. So, you know, a lot of these guys will try to get these 8th graders that they know are fullbacks, you know, or double fullbacks, whatever, 16 years old, and really try to capitalize on getting them because they're trying to funnel them into not only their program, but also have that aura, that image of like, see, we win at the youth level. We win at every level. And it's like, no, you're not really winning. You're just seeking out a certain genetic lottery, a cheat code, essentially, to keep that. And all that funnels into keeping the perception, which then keeps the contract, which keeps the money flowing and the sponsorships and blah, blah, blah. It's a capitalist society. It's how it works, right? So my thing is that's on one side of it. Then you have a lot of AAU programs that feel that if you don't win, you're not developing. If you don't win, you lose players, right? And that's what I think starts to become the other side of it, where they seek out the easiest, the path of least resistance. Right. If I get 5 15-year-olds in the 7th grade, right? Yeah, they don't have to be very good. I just know they gonna have a certain level of talent. They're just gonna be better than everybody. Right. And then the perception is I'm this great coach.
Right.
We're winning, and that gravitates more business to me. Right. Because of the winning. Oh, they must be developing because they're winning. Right. So I think with those unfortunately motivating factors, that's what's created this push to win at all costs. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you're in it for. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can't that stuff is gonna take place, but like no real ones respecting that. Like you know what I mean. And it's like, okay, hey, get your money, get your sponsorships, and get your notoriety as a coach, right? Because that's what you're in it for. Right. But like eventually, that kid is gonna get the short end of the stick. Yep. So what happens when that 15-year-old doesn't pan out to be anything? So now they didn't pan out to be anything, and on top of that, they cheated. So what life lessons are we teaching them? What are we setting them up for? You know what I mean? But you probably don't care because they're gone. Yeah, your shit looks good. Right, right. You're still wasn't on me,
right? And now you got another kid coming or another, and it just creates this pipeline,
of bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah, for straight bullshit. Kind of like an abusive cycle of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Last question for you before we get out of here. If you are speaking to the parents, speaking to the kids, as a trainer and a college coach, what is the best advice you can give these kids and families in order for them to find success? And success being good at basketball, right? And potentially playing at any level of college.
Believe in yourself. You if you don't believe in yourself, it's never going to happen. Nobody can make you believe in yourself. And in believing in yourself, you can accomplish a lot more. Like, the confidence in believing in yourself will take you far, and work your ass off. Like, work your ass off, because there's 3 types of players, bro, in my opinion. There's the player that knows that they're not that good, the player that thinks that they're good, and the player that knows that they're him. Right? The player that knows that they're not that good, they're putting in a ton of work to get better. The players who a lot of these guys are that think they're good, they're half-assing, they're not working hard.
Right.
They're going to plateau. And then the guy who knows he's him, he's going to continue to put in a ton of work to maintain his status and to maintain his dominance. And the key factor is the hard work.
He's on fire.
The hard work, the dedication. Like, somebody might be better than you right now in the 9th grade. That doesn't mean they'll be better than you in the 12th grade if you're out working them.
100%. And
that relates to life as well. Work hard in the classroom. Don't just get C's just because, okay, I can play with a 2.0 or a 2.5. Nah, get that 3.5. Get that 3.8. Shoot for that 4.2, because that'll translate and open up more doors for you later on in life.
Agree.
You may get a scholarship offer, but can you accept that scholarship offer? That's what a lot of guys don't understand. It's like, okay, you may have the talent, but can you accept that? Will admissions let you into that school with that GPA?
And we know some talented kids that, unfortunately, grades is their biggest hurdle.
Work hard, man. Push your kids to work hard, man. I mean, don't be. I wouldn't be like super obsessive and Joe Jackson. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like that. But like, bro, don't make no shortcuts for them. Don't give them opportunities to duck smoke and duck the hard work. Oh, well, he played 5 games, he's sore. Like, man, what do you think these dudes, that the goal that you have to play, they travel, play 82 games?
Yeah. No, 100%.
It's hard work, and you may not make it there. You may not get the Division I scholarship. You may not get the D2, D3. You'll maximize your potential though, and what's for you is for you, but it ain't gonna happen without hard work.
Right.
And you'll be one of those guys that we all know, man, if
he would have did this, if he would have listened to this, would have done that. Yep.
Or it's always somebody else's fault.
Oh, the coach didn't like me. This coach is tripping. They won't let me play my game. Like, there's. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all you doing is practicing.
Right. No.
Come on, bro.
No. Well, I appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
And again, for those, if you have made it to the end of the episode, you're a real one. And again, links for my man's here, Seals Drills, Benard Seals will be there in the links. I'll have his IG and his website, so make sure to get you guys that information. Shout out to all the kids playing AAU this past weekend. I know high school AAU started. I know the high school AAU transfer portal's open right now. So everybody's going to be bouncing everywhere. And shout out to my guys at Team Rise. We won all our games this weekend. It's a great start. We're still in like tryout mode, so by April we'll be kicking off. Did you have anybody or anything you wanted to?
Man, shout out to the Hoopers, man. Shout out to all the Hoopers. Shout out to the kids and that want to get better, perfect their craft. Shout out to y'all, man. Keep this basketball culture going and see you at the top.
All right, man. So, again, appreciate you. Please hit that like and subscribe. Always appreciate that help. Do that HBO special, help a brother out. Other than that, everybody be safe. Keep hooping. Keep loving the game. Keep living the game. And we are out.